Hi everybody. Okay, so we're back again with another video, and just as I promised, this is going to be a part reading vlog, part writing vlog. But I've started both of those things because obviously it's been like quite a few days since I did my last video. And like I said in the last video, I'm going to be like writing like 2,500 words a day. So I started Monday and I'm at 5,000. So I've done what I meant to do. But I also went ahead and started The Crimson Moth. Now, let me tell you the story with this book, because I was well confused. So I picked up this book and I'm like, okay, The Crimson Moth. I've been hearing about this on TikTok. I need something to get me out of a reading slump. I'm gonna read this. So I'm looking it up and I'm like, why is it called Heartless Hunter? Heartless Hunter. Am I reading the second book before I read the first one? No, I was not. It's apparently got two names. So this is Heartless Hunter and The Crimson Moth. And obviously I was well confused because I had heard that like the second book had come out recently, but I was like, surely it wouldn't be the paperback. But yeah, when I'm telling you guys about this book, it is gonna have plenty of spoilers. I'm just not the kind of person that can be like, okay, is this mentioned? No, there's gonna be spoilers. Sorry. If you don't want spoilers, I'll try and do like what Carrie Can Read does and do like the times below so you can like skip, and you know, if you don't want to have this book spoiled for you. And then in terms of the writing, I think one thing I want to, oh, actually, before I go into that, let me just shout out all of you guys who have commented. I did not expect to receive any comments on my first video. Like, genuinely, when I posted it, I thought, I've not put this on Instagram, I've not put this on TikTok. I do have a sizable platform on TikTok. I think I've got like 60K followers, but if you know anything about the TikTok algorithm, you know it's very much, it doesn't necessarily matter how many followers you have. Like, genuinely, it doesn't matter. You can post a video and it still not do well. So I've not advertised it on TikTok. I'm gonna start advertising that I'm like posting on YouTube on TikTok. I've just not gotten around to it. So I did not expect comments, but you guys came through and I'm reading them, and they're not like really short comments. It's like long comments talking about like, oh, I like this video and stuff. And I'm so flattered. So thank you guys so much. I'm so glad you've decided to subscribe and join me on this little writing journey. And hopefully by the end of it, we have a physical book that you can buy and you can hold it in your hands. So like this book, that's the goal. But yes, we're also gonna be reading this book in this video and doing some more writing. But one thing I did want to touch on, back to like what I was saying before, one thing that I had to mention after I started doing my drafting was that drafting is horrible and I hate everything about it, and I'm gonna tell you why. So drafting means writing something and it being just utter garbage, and that is hard for anyone. Like, if you feel like writing is like your craft and it's like your passion, writing something bad and knowing in your head like this is bad is so difficult, and I absolutely loathe it. Like, I'm writing my story right now, and I've decided in this video I'm going to share a bit more about my book, because I don't know what I'm scared of, like plagiarism or something. I don't think that's going to happen. And I did discover that there is another kind of popular book series that has some similarities to what I'm writing about. So therefore, I'm not too worried about like, oh, this is the most original idea ever. I think it might have been either Abby Emmons or Carrie Can Read or a TikToker or something. Someone said at some point, like, there is nothing original, so therefore don't be like, you don't need to be necessarily worried about someone plagiarizing you, because like, if you think that your idea is so unique that no one's ever done it before, you're not reading enough or watching enough. Like, someone's definitely done something. So the book that I'm referencing, I'm gonna try and stick it here. We'll see if that happens in the editing process, but there's a bug crawling past it. I'm not gonna kill it, I'm just gonna move her. Okay. What was I saying? Anyway, if you think that there is a book or anything that has an idea that's not been written or done before, there has been. And like I said, in the editing process, I will try and stick it right here. But there's a book called the Hemlock King. If that's wrong, hopefully I have discovered a way to put it right here. And it's based on the Affair of Poisons in France. And that was my initial inspiration for my book. Now, my book has gone in a completely different direction than that, but that was the initial inspiration. Like, I loved the idea of a gothic romantasy novel set in a very elegant court. And if you know anything about the Affair of Poisons, it was an event that happened in the late 1600s in Paris under the Sun King, King Louis, I think the 14th. Oh, might be wrong. I don't know my kings. But, and it was essentially when people within the court, the noblemen and noble women and things, they were going to the like kind of more scandalous areas of Paris and purchasing poisons and potions, like love potions, to use on other nobility. And as a result, there was quite a few deaths, and it was highly investigated and basically led to the creation of the Parisian police department. That's what I gathered from it anyway. But I'm leaving out any of the police stuff. I'm not really interested in writing about that as of now. Obviously, a lot can change from draft to draft to draft. But more specifically, I wanted to write about sort of this network of witches and warlocks that would be operating in Paris. And my main inspiration for my witches and warlocks comes from Howl's Moving Castle. I know I said in the last video that like I was very inspired by Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I still am. I love this sort of fairy tale, whimsical elements. Like my favorite films growing up were Pan's Labyrinth, Coraline. So like movies like that, like sort of that very dark fantasy fairy tale vibe, and that's what I want to accomplish in this. And with Howl's Moving Castle, I love the concept of like magic being very corruptive and almost being viewed in a negative sense in the way that it impacts Howl's character. So if you haven't seen or read Howl's Moving Castle, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Like any Studio Ghibli film is good. Like I've seen almost all of them. Like I grew up watching Ponyo. And I also grew up watching The Last Unicorn, which was produced by Studio Ghibli before they became Studio Ghibli, if I'm recalling that correctly. So, you know, very dark fantasy. So that's what my goal was with the kind of atmosphere for this book. I wanted it to be definitely more leaning new adult than YA. And I was also very inspired by The Count of Monte Cristo, and I'm not gonna lie, I've not read The Count of Monte Cristo. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a long book, and as you can see from what I tend to pick up, I'm not reading heavy stuff. I'm just not. And when I was younger, I would read honestly more broadly than what I do now as an adult, and I think that's because like in my adult life, my attention span's gone down. But I don't think anybody should be shamed for what they read. Listen. Reading is like watching TV and watching movies. People have different tastes, different preferences, and yeah, it's good to broaden your reach sometimes, but at the end of the day, I know if there's like a fantasy movie, I'm gonna like it. Like I know what I like, and I know that about books. Like I'm not reading romance. If no one's life is on the line, I don't really find it that interesting. And I have read some thrillers and things. I've read a bit of historical fiction, but I like to read what I'm writing. So I'm definitely reading a lot of romantasy. Oh, I know it's like so TikTok-y, but whatever, I don't care. But basically, that's kind of the concept for my book. It's kind of like a very, very, very loose retelling of The Count of Monte Cristo, but that's not the main character. But it's very inspired by the Affair of Poisons, and for the atmosphere, sort of think like Gothic, England, Howl's Moving Castle, Coraline, whimsy, and yeah, so that's what I'm going for. And yeah, so I think it's gonna be good. But it's so annoying writing a draft. It's so annoying. And if anyone has written a draft before, you know it's just the worst. It's just the absolute worst. Like, I'll be reading a sentence that I wrote and I'm like, this is such utter garbage. I just want to like highlight all 5,000 of these words and just do backspace. because like I'm capable of writing a good first draft, but then the problem is it's a waste of time, because you start writing and you get like halfway through and then you're like, wait a second, a lot of the details I put in that first chapter, they no longer line up. Because like I said in the last video, the first draft is just telling yourself the story. That's all you're doing. You're just telling yourself the story, and then you can go back and you can add stuff. But that was a very long 10-minute intro to what is basically going to be a writing and reading vlog. But let's get into The Crimson Moth. So I'm going to quickly pull up the description of this on Goodreads and read it to you guys. Carrie Can Read does that, and I'm going to talk about Carrie Can Read. I love her. That is my girl. So I'm going to do what she does. I'm going to read you what's on the Goodreads. I'm going to walk you through what I've read so far, and I'll film some like live reactions to me reading it, so you can kind of see like if this might be something you want to check out. I like Goodreads, but I do agree with other people when they say like, you know, it's not quite always accurate. Like I think that really popular books tend to get really good reviews, and some of them are genuinely it's not a good book. I know it's all opinions based, but like I think some books genuinely they're not good. But I guess it's just my opinion. Okay, so this was nominated for Reader's Favorite Young Adult Fantasy in 2024, and you'll see if you go to the Goodreads page, it very much does say Heartless Hunter, which I'm so confused by. I don't know if you guys can see that. It says Heartless Hunter and The Crimson Moth. Kristen, this is so confusing. Why did you change it? Like, I don't know what happened with that. Unless there's another book called Heartless Hunter and she was made to change it, or there's another book called The Crimson Moth and she was made to change it. Anyway, let me read you the description on Goodreads. On the night Rune's life changed forever, blood ran in the streets. Now, in the aftermath of a devastating revolution, witches have been diminished from powerful rulers to outcasts, ruthlessly hunted due to their waning magic, and Rune must hide what she is. Spending her days pretending to be nothing more than a vapid young socialite, Rune spends her nights as the Crimson Moth, a witch vigilante who rescues her kind from being purged. When a rescue goes wrong, she decides to throw the witch hunters off her scent and gain the intel she desperately needs by courting the handsome Gideon Sharp, a notorious and unforgiving witch hunter loyal to the revolution, who she can't help but find herself falling for. Gideon loathes the decadence and the superficiality. Is that how you say that? Yeah. Rune represents. But when he learns the Crimson Moth has been using Rune's merchant ships to smuggle renegade witches out of the Republic, he inserts himself into her social circles by pretending to court her right back. He soon realizes that beneath her beauty and shallow facade is someone fiercely intelligent and tender who feels like his perfect match. Except, what if she's the very villain he's been hunting? Kristen, I'm not going to try and pronounce her last name. I'm sorry, girl. I wish I knew how to say it, but I don't, and I'll butcher it. Kristen's The Crimson Moth is a thrilling start to a romantic fantasy duology. Okay, so it's completed. That's good to know. Because sometimes people be saying that it's a duology and then they release another book, and I'm just like, that is not the definition of duology. Where the only thing more treacherous than being a witch is falling in love. Okay. Basically, to be completely honest, that is exactly where I am in the book. Like, what she summarized is essentially like this much. Like, I swear it's this much. That is what her synopsis is. It's that much of the book. And so far, obviously, I'm very picky about 5-star reads. Like, I don't even know if I can name like many 5-star reads. I loved the Cruel Prince series as a whole, like the Folk of the Air trilogy and then the duology that followed. That was a 5-star series for me just because it just captured me and I just loved reading it. Oh, the Shepherd King duology, so One Dark Window and I think it's Two Twisted Crowns. That is 5 stars for me. And then the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy is 5 stars for me. Those are the only 5-star reads I can think of off the top of my head. But so far, I would say this is good. Like, it's been a while since I've been reading something and I've been like, okay, I can sit down and just read. And I'm not having any sort of like, I'm bored, I want to scroll on my phone. So it has captured me there. And I'll say the same, everyone hates on Fourth Wing. Everyone loves to come for Fourth Wing because of how popular it was. But for me, I was gifted Fourth Wing by one of my very, very close friends who lives in Russia, oddly enough, but she gifted it to me for my birthday, and I ate it up. I ate it up. You know what? It was good. I don't know what more you want me to say. Like, was this like gonna be, what's it called? Like, whatever they're calling Hunger Games, like, you know, like a new classic? Like, no, it's not that. But is it good? Yeah, it's delish. I ate it up. Like I said, it was a good book. Sue me. I should show you guys my bookshelf. I'll show you guys my bookshelf. Because I've just moved into this flat like less than a year ago. So I haven't set up like a proper bookshelf, but there's a place above the stairs that's quite good for books. And I think I'm going to do a bit of more working on my draft in a second. So I'll film myself doing that and kind of talk you guys through where I am with my draft. I want to say I'm on chapter 4, but I'm just now getting to the part where I actually know what I'm writing about, which is good. I definitely foresee myself changing the entirety of my beginning. Like, I don't like my first act at all. That's okay. That's okay. I think that sometimes we get too caught up on like, everything's got to be so perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can write a great first draft and still have to throw things out because that's just part of the drafting process. And you might have to cut things. You might have to cut one of your favorite scenes. Like, I know Brandon Sanderson. Oh, Mistborn. I'll give Mistborn a 5-star just because I thought it was just incredible. I haven't finished it. I've got the second one on my bookshelf, which I'll point out if it's up there because books are all over my house at this point. But Brandon Sanderson was saying that, you know, sometimes he starts with a scene and that's his idea for the book comes from a specific scene he's envisioned in his head, and he'll write the book around that scene and then have to cut that scene. It just happens. And I think I'm definitely going to change my first act, but I have to hold on to the faith that this is a good idea. It's a good idea and it's a good story. And I think some of the themes that I'm writing around are good themes. So I'm going to show you guys my bookshelf. We're going to do a bit more drafting. I'll talk you through where I am in my draft. And then we're going to do some reading because I can only draft for so long and then I have to take a break. But one thing I do like to do when I'm going into writing a book is I like to have a song that gets me in the mood to write. And oddly enough, I would say that it's not even always in the same genre. Like, you would think for a gothic romantasy, you'd be wanting like, I don't know, like some sort of classical music, like a soundtrack. And I do listen to a lot of soundtracks. Just to shout out a few soundtracks that, like, if you're writing and you're like, oh, I need a soundtrack to listen to. The Alice in Wonderland soundtrack, the Tim Burton version, banging. The theme, Alice's theme, so good. I love the soundtrack from A Series of Unfortunate Events, not the TV show, the movie with Jim Carrey. That is a great soundtrack. And I think a lot of Thomas Newman, his soundtracks are just always, they just hit the spot. So, but for this particular book that I'm working on now, oddly enough, it was just a random song from TikTok, and I was like, this kind of fits the vibe of the relationship between my two characters. Has nothing to do with anything else, like literally nothing else to do. It sounds like a science fiction sort of vibe. It's called Digital Daydream, and I'll try and put the artist here. Once again, can I do it? I don't know. Magic of editing. But if I can't do it, I'll put it in the comments or in my description. But it's called Digital Daydream. It's lush. It's a great song. And something about like the dynamic of the chorus, like it really fits with like the relationship between the two characters. But yeah, I'll show you guys my bookshelf now. All right, guys, here she is. These books, these are my pride and joy. I've really started to collect them. This is one of my more recent purchases. My mom bought me this one, and I did start it, but then I stopped to read The Crimson Moth, but I am excited about this. I love Brandon Sanderson, and I've heard great things about this particular book. As I mentioned, here's the classic Fourth Wing, and I have read it. Didn't enjoy this one. This is one of my babies. I really want to get like a deluxe edition of this duology. These are my babies as well. Haven't read this, heard good things about it. Oh, Belladonna. This was a 5-star read. I love these books. I've read both of them, and then there's a third one I haven't read. But yeah, as you can see, a huge Holly Black fan as well. I've got all of those. I'm missing the Cruel Prince. I do own it though. And yeah, this is another one of my favorites. This is one of the few books that's not fantasy that's on this shelf that I would always recommend that. It's such a good book. And then this one, I don't know if you guys know, but this one's actually being turned into a television show, and it's meant to come out, I want to say it was June 18th, but I'm excited about that as well. But yeah, I'll give you guys a better view. That is my bookshelf. Alright, so I've got my snack, and I'm going to start doing a bit of writing. So I've got lime Coke, which is my favorite Coke at the moment. I don't know if you've tried lime Coke, but it's so good. It's so delicious. And then I have Cheez-Its from the States, even though I live in the UK. They were sent to us from my mom's friend, and I'm so happy about that because I love Cheez-Its. And then we also have like the crispy M&Ms. So yep, yummy. Writing not going well, and also my phone is so low on storage, so I need to sort that out. But I think I'm gonna just take a break and do some reading. So it's a little cozy reading moment because yeah, I just need a break from it. Like, I have some new concepts that I want to add, and drafting is so difficult, and shout out to anyone else who's drafting right now because it's so difficult. But yeah, I'm just gonna take a break and read because it's not that serious. I'm doing this for fun and I want to be published, but if it's becoming a chore, like, I need to step back for a second. But yeah, let's just read. My favorite mug. It's from Waterstone. It's a combination of my absolute 2 favorite things, Pride and Prejudice and cats, because I'm just an old cat lady, to be honest. But yeah, it's quite literally the cutest thing ever. So far, like, I'm actually kind of surprised. I feel like with TikTok books, it's always kind of a hit or miss. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but it's very much like either it's gonna be one of the easiest, best books you've read, or it's like, oh my god, I can't believe this has been published. I can't believe this has been published for the public. And I have had that experience with books. I don't really want to name the book in particular solely because I would mean it as no hate to the author, because I think she's lovely. That's the problem, is like I think she seems so sweet, like I'd want to be friends with her, but her book is but the problem with this book is it's too good. Like, I'm like, normally I'd have more commentary if I was reading something that I didn't enjoy. I don't know, you guys comment what book I should read next, like, because something that you think is not the best, like something that you think has received, something that's overhyped on Booktok. If you find something that's overhyped on Booktok, comment it below, and I am so down to read it, because I think that like it would be a lot more interesting than me reading something that's so good. But so far I would recommend this. I think that like I'm really liking the dynamic of the two characters. It's Gideon and Rune. Like the tension between them is quite good. And then I also like how it switches POVs. I didn't expect that from this. It's all in third person as well, which is, I would say, not the norm with books I've been recommended for Booktok. Most of them are in first person, but this is in third person, but it still switches POVs. It's good. It's really good. It almost feels like sort of science fiction-y at times. Like, not science fiction, that's not the right word. Dystopian. It feels dystopian, like the government system. Like the setting is a place called the New Republic, and it's basically all of the witches have been hunted down, but there used to be witch queens, and now you have the New Republic, which are very anti-magic. But you know, like what I mean, like the New Republic sounds very like dystopian. So Rune has this whole like double identity thing going on, and it's so fun. It reminds me of when I used to watch The Flash, because it's like, so she has two identities. She has Rune, who's like a kind of stupid, vapid socialite, and then she has the Crimson Moth, which is someone who's going and like a vigilante rescuing witches that have been captured by the Blood Guard, which is like the guards of the New Republic. And Rune, so for example, like she almost gets caught as the Crimson Moth. So Rune Winters, her other identity, her persona, needs to be seen somewhere else. So she's like, crap, I need to like run really fast and get to this event so people see me here, and it's kind of like canceling each other out. But I love that, and I'll tell you why I love it. And maybe it's just because I haven't read a lot in my adulthood. Like, all my reading was done when I was younger. I'm not afraid to admit that. I just kind of fell out of reading for a while, but I'm not really too familiar seeing that in this kind of book. I'm very much associated with like sort of superhero books, so it's very interesting to see, and it makes you think like how many other sort of superhero tropes could you apply to romantasy novels. I'd be interested to see that. So I'm about to catch a bus and go into town for like a coffee and something to eat. But, you know, I'm about to try and do some writing, but it's been difficult. Like, I've made quite a few changes already, and I'm like, oh my lord, like I had to change a lot about my main character to make the story work. But I fleshed out a super cool magic system, so I'm excited to kind of write around that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing today, so I'll keep you guys updated, and hopefully I'll be posting this Friday night, because today's Friday and I did promise a video. But yeah, that's it for today. I'll show you guys the coffee shop I go to and what I drink, so you guys can see that as well. Sorry guys, it's so loud in here, but I'm just having my second coffee. My mom bought me one and my boyfriend bought me my second one, and it's a lavender and vanilla cream coffee, and yeah, I'm just sitting and writing, and it's going pretty well. I'll update you guys when it's a bit quieter, but yeah, good day. Hi guys, so I'm back from the cafe, and it went well. Like, my writing went really well. I'm very happy with it, and I'm excited to eventually share it. So there's been quite a few changes to what I was previously writing. It's still kind of inspired by The Affair of Poisons, still very much inspired by The Count of Monte Cristo, and it's also kind of almost fairy tale retelling. So I'm very pleased with it. I've got some water here because I'm kind of out of breath. I've had 2 coffees. I think I said that in my last clip. I'm gonna do a bit more writing because it's so rainy today and can't really go outside. Like, I hate that I'm not gonna have the very aesthetic sort of seaside clips in this particular video. I wish I could, guys, but the weather has been absolute garbage. So I mean, like, everyone likes rainy day, but in England, rainy days, they start and they just don't stop. So it's not exactly the best for filming. But I'm going to also review The Crimson Moth now because, like, I just finished it last night and I do have some thoughts. Okay, let's talk about The Crimson Moth. So this is the first book in a duology, as I told you guys before, and now that I've finished it, I think I'm gonna give it a 3.75 because it wasn't like the best book I've ever read, but I will say this, I want to rate it higher just because it got me out of a reading slump. I've not finished a book in ages, and this was really well written and it was very good. And I definitely will read the next one. So one of the tropes that this book is apparently is enemies to lovers. I would say it is technically, very much technically, enemies to lovers, and that is because even though these 2 characters are enemies, they are both putting on personas of people that aren't, if that makes sense. So the main character is Rune, and she's a witch, and the other main character is Gideon, and he is a witch hunter. But Gideon is pretending that he doesn't know that Rune might be a witch, and Rune is pretending to be kind of like this vapid socialite. So they're very much attracted to each other, despite the circumstances. Another thing I would say I liked about this book was the magic system. I spoke on it previously. It's very like kind of a blood-based magic system. We'll just give one little trigger warning because I didn't see this anywhere. There were some references to SH. I don't want to say more than that on YouTube just because I don't know all of the guidelines around the wording. Like, I know that it can be very fickle about like certain words. But yeah, if you know what SH is, or if you don't and you need to know, you could probably Google what that stands for. But I would say that I would personally give a trigger warning for this just because some of the magic system is based around that thing, but it's not that thing. If that makes, I have no idea how to explain this. As you can see, I'm talking out of my butt, but you can probably Google this and sort yourself out. I just didn't see any trigger warnings personally. Like, there's none in the beginning of the book or anything. But yeah, I would rate this highly. It was good for a TikTok recommendation. Like I said, I'm gonna buy the next one. And I did find another book that I want to read soon, and that is The Rose Bargain. Don't know who wrote it. Maybe I can stick it here. We'll find out in editing. But I do want to read that next because I'm hearing a lot of really good things, but I'm also hearing a lot of not great things. So I'm really interested in that one. Another one I'm curious to read is, now listen, y'all, I love a good controversy. I love a good controversy. So a lot of people are talking about that book, Firebird. Comment below if you've heard of Firebird. And oh my gosh, I'd be absolutely just on Booktok for even suggesting that I'd read it. But I like to read controversial stuff, whatever. Like, people write all sorts of things, but apparently it's like some sort of controversy of the main character is a slave and the main male character is a slave master, but all in a fantasy setting, of course, not like historical. Though it is based around the Roman Empire. But a lot of people on TikTok were upset about that. But people on TikTok get upset about everything. If you've been on TikTok, it does not matter what video you go to, there is going to be a comment being upset about something. The people on TikTok, funny story, I went viral on TikTok a couple times. And let me tell you, if you want to feel like absolute garbage about yourself, go viral on TikTok. Because the first thing that's going to happen is people are going to pick you apart. They always do. It's just, sometimes I don't like TikTok for that reason. Like, I find it's a very negative community space. It is so judgmental. You are not allowed to make mistakes without being spit roasted over open flames. That's all there is to it, really. But I'm curious to read it, even if it's just a hate on it. Like, it might seriously be bad and be portrayed poorly. I don't know. I've not read it. And I've seen that, like, they're review bombing the book on Goodreads with 1-star reviews, which I don't necessarily agree with if you haven't read it. Like, I definitely think before you review a book, you should read it, because sometimes you can get a lot of press and a lot of talk around a book that would influence your opinion, and then you're just review bombing, and it's so wrong to do that to authors, especially, like, I don't know if she's written a book before, but God, I hope that would never happen to me. But, you know, like, obviously some people liked the book. It's got like a 3.4, and that's with the review bombing. So I'd like to give it a chance. So that's Firebird. Comment below if you'd like to see me read that, because if it is bad, a lot more entertainment for you guys. Same with Rose Bargain, because I think my bad books that I rate badly, I probably have a lot more to say, but this book was a solid book. It was a good book. Still confused about the whole Heartless Hunter thing. Like, I don't understand why this book had 2 titles. I'm gonna have to look into that. If anyone knows, like, off the top of their head, let me know in the comments, because what? I didn't even know that you could just change the name of your entire book. And, like, is this the updated name, or is the other book the updated name? Because I've heard more about Heartless Hunter, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna do a bit more writing, and then I'm probably gonna wrap up this video, guys. I feel that this video was probably not as aesthetically pleasing as my last video, but this is my life. Like, I'm just living life right now. And oh, I'm just so grateful though, because you guys have come through with, like, the nicest comments, and I can't believe I've got like 40 subscribers. 40 of you want to watch more of my videos. Actually, I'll say like 42. I think it's like 43 right now, but I'm gonna say 42 because obviously my boyfriend wants to watch my videos. I don't even think he's watched it. I think he's heard me filming all of it anyway. He hears me talk 24/7. So, but yeah, if you see any comments from like someone, I think his username's like the kilogram or something stupid, but if you see any comments from him saying like, oh, you're so beautiful, that's my boyfriend. I know someone was trying to defend me from like a creeper, but he's not a creeper. Don't worry. Don't stress. Don't stress. But yeah, so I'm gonna do a bit more writing, like I said, and then we'll wrap up the video. But just thank you guys so much. Hi guys. So this is the last installment for today's video, but I know that this was, I don't know what that was, but I know this was kind of like choppy a little bit. Like I said, I'm still very much getting used to the whole video thing. I think I definitely need more clear direction for next time. Like, this was very casual, but I wanted to post another video as soon as possible. So obviously I didn't have like time constraints on the last one, but I have done a lot of writing. I was at the cafe for like 2.5 hours, something like that, just writing my little butt off, and it went really well. I'm very pleased with it. I can't remember how much I said last time we chatted about like the concept of my book. Basically, I've strayed so far away from the whole affair of poisons thing that it's just a completely different track. So to give you a bit of an update on where I am with my outline, I'm in chapter 2, or not my outline, my dang draft. I'm in chapter 2, and it's going very well. So just to give a bit of backstory, my protagonist is a daughter of a great house in a magical place called Grimwood, and her family was all murdered by a beast. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm trying to get it to come to my head. I just walked so far and now I'm like, ugh. But so her entire family has been killed, and she's seeking vengeance on the other family that she thinks is responsible. So it's kind of like very the Count of Monte Cristo reminisce with a cards-based magic system. And that's one thing I will talk to you guys about quickly. So I loved One Dark Window, and if you're not familiar with One Dark Window, it's also a cards-based magic system, though I've looked into it and it's not the first one. There's been quite a few. It was my first exposure to a cards-based magic system, but now that I've looked into it, I'm like, okay, quite a few people have done this, so it's not like copy and paste thing if I do a cards-based magic system as well. But I did a very different take on it. So with my card system, it's not so much the cards that hold power, but it's something that's trapped within them that's giving them their power. And all of the magic is very draining. Like, magic is corruptive in my world. But yeah, I would say it's going pretty good. So to just sum it up again, like, it is still it's very much a gothic romantasy, sort of a very loose fairy tale retelling. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you should subscribe just for that, because if I publish, you're gonna want to know when it's coming out and stuff. So I don't know, guys, like, it's going pretty well and I'm excited about it. The writing's coming quite naturally. Hopefully I can share a few sentences, even though they're probably going to change in the next video. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the next video, so if you have any ideas, let me know. I might do more of a proper reading vlog. So I have been doing a lot of writing, but I haven't filmed myself writing, because when I write in the cafe, it's quite loud in there, and also the tables are small. So it looked pretty crazy, me setting up this massive tripod in the middle of this cafe. And it's like set up like this. So like this is the bar, and then this is like the whole cafe. It's very small. So it wouldn't work. I couldn't do that. But I could film myself reading all over the place, and I did that some in this video. But if you were able to sit through and listen to me talk for almost an hour, oh, God bless, because I know it was a lot. But leave a like, subscribe if you want more content like this. It's gonna be kind of casual until I start figuring myself out, but I'm just so grateful for everyone who subscribed so far. Like, if you want to listen to this video in 2 times, that's what I do when I watch my videos through, so I don't blame you at all. But yeah, it's going well, and I'm just so grateful for all of you guys that have commented and things. It's been so supportive, and I guess my goal at the end of the day is just to kind of create like a very writing, like, very, what's the word? A very casual, supportive writing community here on YouTube. And I know that there's already a bit of a growing writing and reading community on YouTube, and I really just wanted to be a part of that space, because I've found it to be just such an encouraging and inviting space. And yeah, so that's what you can expect from this channel. Like, I don't plan to talk about anything political, anything other than writing and reading, to be honest, because I think you can get enough of everything else everywhere else. So that's what this is going to be. And if you want to follow along, if you want to write with me, if you want to read with me, definitely subscribe. And yeah, I'm just thankful for all of you that have subscribed so far, and I hope that we'll continue to grow. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.